Hello again, everyone. I'm here with a fairly small Jackson's haul. I'm going to get to these watercolors here in a minute because they're kind of the stars of the show, at least these are. And I'll show these just briefly. These are new to Jackson's. They are their own branded powdered pigments. I'm not going to test these today just because I am not equipped to do that. Whenever you're handling powdered pigments, you want to make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area. You probably want to wear a mask or a respirator when you're working with them because you basically do not want to be inhaling these pigments because some of them can be very toxic, especially cobalt. I would say stay away from cobalt. And if you get it on your hands, you probably want to wash it off and all that kind of stuff. Gloves and a mask. That would probably be the best thing. So just think it's just like COVID, but with colors. So anyway, I got these because I wanted to try my hand at making handmade watercolors. I already have some mediums sitting around, and I had some other powdered pigments from other brands, actually from Jackson's. And I can't even remember what they are now because I got them a while ago and never did anything with them. But because Jackson started carrying their own, they're actually really inexpensive. Let me see if I can find the pricing. So these varied, between $2 to $5 for these, for each one, and they're based on weight, so you're not going to necessarily get a full container. So with the cobalt blue, you're actually not getting very much in the smaller container. They do have some larger sizes if you are wanting larger quantities of pigment. So these will be interesting. At some point I may end up doing something on the channel. I have to play around with this first because I have never made my own watercolors and I kind of want to test my hand at it first before showing any of that off on the channel. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I got Cobalt Blue Deep. I got Magenta or quinacridone Magenta. I got Nickel Azo Yellow, which is a color that I am very fond of. And this is actually, so they're all 10 grams, but as you can see, they're filled to different levels because different pigments are different weights. Like the Cobalt Blue is clearly very heavy as a pigment, so you're getting less of that. This one actually, the Hematite Black is 25 grams, so you're getting a little bit more of that. I wanted to get something like this because I wanted to see if I could mix my own sort of darker colors with a granulating black, which Hematite Black would be. So we'll see. Like I said, this will all be an experiment, and basically I have to have time and be able to put the energy into the setup for that. Okay, so the other things are these watercolors. I just got one tube of this ShinHan Artist's watercolor. This is the extra fine in purple gray. So this was just a color on my wish list that I wanted to try. So I will swatch that out for you today. But I'm probably going to do that. Well, I'll do that right away so that we can then get to the star of the show, which is these new colors from Rome and Szmal. So this is not all of the new colors that they have. I think they have 25 new colors, and I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I got 10 of them. And basically I just picked the ones that I liked the look of the best based on swatches. So let's see. So here I have Aquarius Orange, which I thought was a very vibrant, beautiful color of orange. This one is Indian Red, which they didn't have before, and I do like an Indian Red. And I got a Potter's Pink, so I'm kind of in the mode of testing out a bunch of different brands of Potter's Pink. I might actually do a whole separate video on comparing different brands of Potter's Pink now that I have a substantial amount of them. I think I have at least 4 or 5 different Potter's Pinks that I can compare, so I may do that in a separate video. So this one is Hematite Brown shade. So that one looks like a very beautiful shade of brown to me. And then I have, I'm trying to arrange these in somewhat of a logical order. This is Vivianite, I think, which is a blue ochre. And a lot of these tend to be very expensive when you're getting them in handmade colors because they're true minerals. Like this one, I think there is no pigment number. It is just, yeah, because it says PBNA, not applicable because it is a natural mineral. But a lot of these are way more expensive when you get them And I'm not quite sure how they're able, this is a Polish brand, so I'm not quite sure how they're able to get cheaper pigments to put into, or offer them less expensively. So this one is Perylene Green Deep. I am a big fan of Perylene Green, so I'm eager to try the Deep. This is Shadow Violet Light, and I actually do not have the original Shadow Violet that they have, but this one to me looked actually much prettier in the swatches, so we'll see. We'll see if that actually is the case. And then this is Aquarius Cobalt Blue. Cobalt Blue is one of my favorites. That's why I got the pigment, even though it is fairly toxic. And then I got two fairly similar colors. This one is Cobalt Sea Blue, and then this one is Cobalt Teal, because I did not have the Cobalt Teal from Roman Szmal. I'm not sure if that's a new one or not. I can't remember. That might be an old one still, actually. So let me go ahead and put these off to the side here. I am going to unwrap them and get them ready for testing. Often with the Roman Szmal, you are getting a little bit of wax on the pan from this little piece of wax paper that they put over the top, and that leaves a residue sometimes. So we'll see if that is the case with these. So, and I'm also going to keep the little original swatches because I am going to make swatch cards with these. I'm just not prepared to do that today because I just thought I would open it up and go ahead and try swatching these. Okay. Okay, so far no sticking, so that's good. I'm sure as soon as they hit the Colorado border, they completely dry out. That I know I do. I dry out when I hit the Colorado border. It's definitely different because I've almost always lived somewhere that's a little more humid than Colorado. Okay, and are these actually labeled? No, they are not labeled. So I think I will label them with my little Sharpie so that I will know for future which ones these are. Okay. Actually, why don't I go ahead and do that as I'm opening them. So let's go back to this first one. This is, of course, I need to take my glasses off to do that. Getting old, folks. Okay, so let's see. So this actually says pigment not applicable as well for the orange. I think I saw a video where someone was explaining why that was for this one, but I really can't remember what the reasoning was. So let's go ahead and label this Aquarius Orange. And I'm going to say Pigment Orange NA. Put that off to the side. And then we had Indian Red. And this is, let's see, PR101, which is pretty standard. Okay. And then let's go with the Potter's Pink. What I'm really interested to see in the Potter's Pink is to see if there's a difference in re-wetting, because it can be a pigment that is hard to re-wet. So this is PR233. Okay, so that was that one. Let's get this one open. Oh, and the paper that I'm going to be doing these on is Pentalic paper, which is right here. And I've said before on the channel that I really like this color for swatches because even though it's not cotton paper, the colors show up really well on it. So this is Hematite, brown shade. And I'm guessing that this does not have a, oh, it actually does have a pigment number, PR102. Interesting. Okay, so this should be a little bit faster for the rest of them now that I've decided to do that. But I was really excited to see all the new colors from this line because I really like their colors, and their colors are very vibrant. That's what I meant. I'm not very good at multitasking, so excuse me. And if you see I have like color all over my nails, as in painting, because I have been acrylic painting all day. Vivianite. I've been taking a little bit of time off of work, and I've been pretty much doing nothing but watercoloring and mixed media, which has been really fun, actually, to have that. Since I can't go anywhere, it's nice to be able to do art. Okay, so that one was Vivianite Blue Ochre, and it did not have a pigment number because that's a natural pigment. Okay, let's go with this one. Oops. This one is Perylene Green Deep. And I don't think I can't remember if I have the regular Perylene. I may. Again, hard to write and talk. Perylene Green Deep. And this is PBK 32. Perylene green is always a black pigment, which is kind of interesting because basically it is a black that's green, that's dark green. So this one is the Shadow Violet Light. I'm going to try and go a little bit faster here. Again, no sticking. That's very good. So Shadow Violet Light. And that has a few different pigments. It has PB36, PB29, and PR176. What's nice about having a full pan is you can write all those colors on there with no real problem. Okay. And then we're getting to all the cobalts here. And like I said, I'm pretty sure the Cobalt Teal was already part of their line. I just did not have that color. So this is Aquarius Cobalt Blue. That's interesting. So they clearly think this blue is specific to themselves. Let's see, PB72. I don't know if I've seen that pigment number before. Okay, and then Cobalt Sea Blue. I'm always a sucker for this kind of color, sort of a bluish, greenish teal. This one leans more blue, I think. And let's see, Cobalt Sea Blue. And it is PB28. Okay, one more to unwrap and then we'll get to the swatching. Oh, and that one came right off. It didn't even stick. So this one is Cobalt Teal. I realize I did not label these Roman Szmal, but I pretty much will know. This is PG50. So that's a pretty standard color for Cobalt Teal, or at least a pretty common one. All right, so I'm gonna get all these little wrappers off to the side. Get my brush and my water. I'm gonna try to do fairly decent size swatches so you can see them pretty well. All right, so let's go ahead and start with this Aquarius Orange. It's another thing I like about Aquarius watercolors. They're very easy to re-wet. Oh, that's lovely. That's very lovely. Very bright. I think it'd be a good mixing color. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the Indian Red. Lovely. What I really like about Indian red is that you can get really deep tones, but then you can also get really nice diluted tones, which is what I'm adding a little bit of water so you can see. It's almost like a potter's pink in its more dilute form. It can be very opaque. Oops, looks like, let's see if I can get that off a little bit. Okay. All right, so the next one is indeed potter's pink, which is interesting because we'll be able to see the difference. Okay, so this seems slightly hard to re-wet, but not crazy. I would say it's probably about the same as the Daniel Smith when it's dry. So you definitely see that it's a lot more pink than the Indian red. If you go even more dilute on this, it would be closer, but still, I think you're getting sort of a unique color with potter's pink. So this is the Hematite brown shade. They also have a Hematite, I think it's a violet shade, and they both looked really, really pretty. But I just went for this one because I think I felt like I already had a lot of violet shade Hematite type watercolors, so that's why I got that one. Again, very pretty. Okay, I'm gonna do one more here. This is Vivianite, that blue ochre color, and I would expect this one to be pretty hard to re-wet. Let's see, it doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. In a lot of other brands, it's very hard to re-wet. Yeah, that's actually really pretty. Okay. And now I'm going to start on the next row. Looks like I got a little bit of that. When I get overly zealous with the water, sometimes pigment flies everywhere. Okay, so this is Perylene Green Deep. This is probably the one that I was most excited about, other than the, oh, that's really pretty. Other than the Shadow Violet Light. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's a winner. I always love my deep colors like that, especially single pigment deep colors. Okay, this one is the Shadow Violet Light that I was just talking about. And this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add quite a bit of water to the end, and we'll see if we can get some of that pigment separation going. Hopefully you'll be able to see it as it dries, because that multi-pigment look with the variation, it's a lot like moon glow. And the variation in color shows up a lot better when you have a lot of water. Okay, so this is the Aquarius Cobalt Blue. Beautiful cobalt blue. Okay, and then we have Cobalt Sea Blue. And I will put these up to the camera so you can see them a little better. That is lovely. Again, it's hard to beat that kind of shade in my opinion. And then here is the Cobalt Teal, which, like I said, I think was already part of their collection. I just didn't have it, and I was actually kind of surprised that I didn't have it. So I added that one. And I've been really liking Cobalt Teal lately. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show these to you. Let's see if I can get close there, get it to focus. So this is the Aquarius Orange. The next one is Indian Red. You can see it does look pretty nice dilute as well as opaque. You're getting this bloom here because I added a lot of water there. And this is the Potter's Pink. This is the Hematite brown shade. And then, what was this one? This is the Vivianite Blue Ochre. Very nice. And then this is the Perylene Green Dark. I'm noticing though that when it's drying, it's looking a little bit duller than it did when it was wet. Most colors will look duller when they're dry as opposed to wet, but that's just something to note. It's a very flat color without any granulation or variation in color. You can already see some of the pigment separating in this, what is the name of it again? It is Shadow Violet Light. So it's not completely dry, but you can already see how you're getting this sort of blue and violet separation in here. This one is lovely. I really like this one. And then we have the Aquarius Cobalt Blue. Cobalt Blue is always a favorite of mine because of its lovely granulation. And then this one was the Cobalt Sea Blue. That's beautiful and really vibrant. That might be good for mixes, and you know, this almost, to me, it looks kind of like a Caribbean ocean. And then, of course, we have the Cobalt Teal. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm not sure if I'll get more Aquarius watercolors in the new selection, because these were specifically the ones that appealed to me, so that's why I got them, other than this Cobalt Teal, like I said. The orange, I don't normally gravitate towards this color orange, but I think it'd be really great for mixing. I've actually found that my Aussie Red Gold is fantastic for mixing, and I think this might be similar. Actually, what this color reminds me of is the Sennelier Chinese Orange color, which is also very vibrant and bright like that. That's what this reminds me of. But the other colors, I mean, this one is very reminiscent of Moon Glow. There is a dark version of this, which I do not have, but like I said, when I saw the swatches, I felt like the light version looked a little bit better to me as far as showing the variation in color. But you can definitely see here, if you're just painting with it without a lot of water, it's going to look pretty flat. But as soon as you add a lot of water, this is true of most granulating colors, the more water you add, the more you're going to be able to see that granulation, just because the pigment itself can sink into the water. And this is, well, no, it's still a little wet, but as it dries, that's even going to show up more. And I didn't add more water to these cobalts, but you would probably get a similar effect. And even with this one, the Vivianite, you can see the granulation more on the side where I had more water. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to try using these in some paintings and see what I think. And like I said, I'm probably not going to be getting any more of the new colors just because I have so many watercolors. Oh, and I forgot. I was going to do this at the beginning, and then I got so distracted by the new colors there. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. So this is Purple Gray by ShinHan. I will swatch that really quick before I go. This is just a really lovely color. It's kind of a muted violet, and that is a winner. I really love that a lot. I've really been loving Cobalt Violet. Cobalt Violet? Yeah, Cobalt Violet. And this reminds me a lot of that with just a little bit more depth of character. But it's beautiful. All right, and obviously you're getting a completely different type of look than you are with these. First off, it's out of a tube, and second off, it's just sort of a different thing. ShinHan is known for more bright colors, whereas that's not necessarily, although these two are very bright blues, which I'm loving. The Aquarius watercolors aren't necessarily known for being super bright. Okay, so there we go. Sorry it took me a little while to get to that ShinHan Purple Gray, but that really is all for today. So feel free to like and or subscribe so you can keep track of future videos on my channel, and I hope to see you there. In the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.